Kia ora everybody, hello and welcome to this video about astrology and the astrological energies that will be affecting us from Saturday the 19th of October until Sunday the 27th of October, so that's a week and a couple of weekends. My name is Fiona of sunandmooncalendar.nz, and in this video I'm going to be using Western tropical astrology, but from the point of view of the Southern Hemisphere, New Zealand and Australia. Let's first talk about the moon phase that we're in. The dance of the sun and moon is the most fundamental astrological energy, I feel at least. And so with the sun and moon, we're just coming out of the Aries full moon. I'm actually recording on the night of the Aries full moon, so I might go out soon and have a look at it. So that is a super moon. It's close to Earth, and by the time you hear this, of course, it will be past tense, so I'll use past tense. It was a close moon to Earth, and Aries can be very energetic, and there can be like strong emotions with a full moon. And it was also it's square to Mars and square to Pluto, so quite a lot of some hard energy with that full moon, and some pleasant energy because there was a sextile involved as well, which I talked about in last week's video. So if anybody has any kind of culmination moments or things that came to fruition or completion or things that were revealed by the light of the full moon, feel free to share that in the comments so we can share our astrological learning and knowledge as we go along on the journey. And so there we go, that Aries full moon, that culmination point, a time of high energy. And now that we're past that, the energy will just start to wane a little bit. And you can see on that video, on that photo there of the moon taken by my friend Leonora Soares, who is a lovely photographer, you can just see that the top corner of the top edge of the moon there is starting to get smaller. And that might be what the moon looks like on Friday night, and then it's going to wane. The energy is still pretty high though. There's still a lot of light. So just notice it's starting to diminish and over the week. Okay. And then we've also had, of course, last week I talked about Pluto stationing direct in the sign of Capricorn, and it's now in Capricorn for the last time in our lifetimes and moving towards Aquarius. It's at the 29th degree of Capricorn, and at the 29th degree, the anaretic degree, things can be more intense, a little bit more kind of desperate and clinging on to things that need to be let go of. And you might notice that, and in your personal life over that next month until mid-November when Pluto moves into Aquarius, perhaps there's some things playing out in your life to do with power, like power plays or issues and things that come up that make you think about your autonomy and how you use your own authority, where is your sovereignty, and where do you give your power away, and where do you hold strongly and assertively, but hopefully not aggressively, or hopefully not stubbornly, but assertively to your own power. So that's something that could come up with that last month of Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn. In this episode today, I wanted to talk about Mars. Mars is going to be a planet that astrologers are going to be talking about a lot over the next between now and April, and that is because Mars is going retrograde. It doesn't go very often retrograde, Mars, but when it does, it's for quite a long time, and as a personal planet, that really has an effect on us. And it's going to be going retrograde from the 7th of December until the 24th of February. So it's 2.5 months. It's quite a long time. Starting from early October, from the 5th of October, Mars was in its shadow period. And that means it was going over the degrees that it is going to retrograde back over during its retrograde period. And then after that, it will have its post-shadow period. So Mars is going to be doing that. It's going to be going along and then back and then along again. Between the 5th of October and the 7th of December, that is where Mars is going to go back over. All right, so it's going over those degrees from the 17 degrees of Cancer until 6 degrees of Leo. Something that you might want to do is to think about the areas of your life where you put in a lot of energy, where you've got a lot of drive and enthusiasm and a gut instinct and a fighting spirit, and notice like things that might come up, especially on those kind of themes to do with Mars over that time, because they could be things that you're coming back to later when the retrograde happens. So the retrograde means about redoing things, revising things. With Mars, it means revising our energy, our passions, our drive, our direction that we're going in. What we're fighting for and what we're pushing for and what we're determined to do. During that 2.5 months when it actually is retrograde, we are likely to feel kind of a bit frustrated. Frustration is something that can come up, like we're really trying to get things done and we're trying to push it through, white knuckling almost, but feeling like we're getting nowhere. So expect that to come up. But for now, we still feel like we're getting somewhere. But anything that we're working on now with that kind of Mars energy, that energy and enthusiasm and fight and determination and willpower, it might be something that we have to go back over later. It's all good. By the end of it, we will feel a lot clearer about what we're aiming for and how we're aiming for things by the end of the retrograde. But just to let you know that that's happening now. We're in the shadow period all through October and November, and then in December it actually goes retrograde. Okay, let's look at some of the aspects that are going on this week that I'm covering. All right, Tuesday, the 22nd of October, we've got Mercury trine to Saturn, and that is a positive energy where we can be like good grown-up adults talking and making plans for the future with sensible ideas, sensible discussions, putting things into process that could build for the future. So that's pretty cool. On Wednesday, the 23rd, we've got the Sun square Pluto. That's not an easy one. So this is where we can have clashes of egos, but the clashes might not always be on the surface because Pluto can sometimes keep things simmering under the surface. So there could be some passive aggressive stuff. But anyway, your creative expression might not flow easily because there might be some underlying stuff getting in the way. Perhaps your underlying motivations don't match what you think you want to do. And the Sun is about our expression and our leadership. It's our soul. It's our vitality. And Pluto can be the dark underbelly that's not always easy to deal with. Anyway, we'll get through it. It's just for a day or so. On Wednesday, the Sun enters Scorpio. So we've had the Sun in Libra, and it's been the season, the 30 days or so of the Libra season where we've had the light shining, the light of the Sun shining on partnership and diplomacy and beauty and elegance and refined arts. And in Scorpio, the Sun's going to be kind of darker. Not really darker, of course, but Scorpio is a sign that's about deep stuff and mysteries, the occult, also deep research, getting to the bottom of things, detective work, underlying layers. Okay, so we've got that until middle of the end of November, like 22nd, 23rd of November or thereabouts. And then on Thursday, we have the third quarter moon or the last quarter moon, and this is the last kind of quarter main point of the lunar cycle. After the big energy of the full moon in Aries, the moon has been waning, and it will come down until it just appears as a half moon in the sky. And at that time, the sun is square to the moon. And that means we've got a feeling of tension, and that's good because it will drive us to get our things finished that we need to finish, and we can bring our energy down before the moon loses all its light at the new moon time. According to Maramataka, that time is a tangaroa period, those few days, and they're known to be the most productive and rewarding days. And I think that these two types of astrology fit really well together because, you know, that energy of the square, it drives us to get things done, and we do complete things. And I really noticed that in the third quarter moon, I get a lot of stuff done, and I'm therefore reaping the rewards of the earlier work that I put in and completing things. And then on Friday the 25th of October, we've got Mars sextile Uranus. And this is a positive energy. And it's an energy that we're going to have again when Mars goes back over Uranus in its retrograde, and then over it, well, not over it, but in that sextile aspect with Uranus. So Mars is about energy and drive, as I've been talking about, and Uranus is about innovation, freedom, a fresh look at things, out of the box thinking, technology, and revolution. Also, Uranus doesn't like to be tied down. It's also about dissipated power or devolved power rather than top-down centralized power. It's about power being spread out among the people. It's about the masses. And so Mars sextile Uranus, usually that only happens every couple of years, but we're going to get those three over the next few months with Mars's retrograde. So anyway, it can help us to reach for better solutions, to work hard towards better solutions that affect large groups of people, affect populations, and are good for democracy and power to the people. Okay, but it only lasts a few days. So if you get any good ideas, write them down or maybe take some action on them. So as I said before, I encourage you to write some comments about how the full moon affected you. And one culmination point that I had with the full moon is that on the day of the full moon, I got a message from the printers that the New Zealand edition of the calendar was ready to be picked up. And so shortly I will be picking that up and sending off the pre-orders. So to let you know, the pre-orders will finish on Sunday. Sunday will be the last day to order the Aotearoa Sun and Moon Calendar for free postage. And apart from that, another full moon moment that I had was I finished the content for the Australian edition of the calendar, and I've sent that off to Jazz Robery, who's going to be illustrating and making the pages look amazing. So look out for that. That's coming out for all the Australians, the Australian edition of the calendar. And she's actually already done the cover, so I will put the cover up for you to have a look at. Anyway, that's all from me, everybody, for now, and I hope you have a good week and still enjoy the high energy of that full moon, but it will start to come down a bit, and yeah, just have a good life for this coming week. Hei kona rā and ka kite anō.